February 6th. 2014, hard to believe. Short highlight of the Incorporated Area Council meeting, and we'll rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we'll start with roll call.
President Barbara Dopkin.
Present.
Vice President Liz Giva.
Here.
Treasurer Christine Waldman.
Here.
Myself, Pat Price. Douglas Carroll.
Here.
Rebecca Lopez, absent. Richard Miller.
Present.
Elizabeth Gordon. Present. Jesse Stoneback, absent. And Doreen Gomez.
Yeah, I knew. I didn't hear from Doreen tonight. I think she'll be coming. Okay. Any additions to the agenda tonight? Any changes? Okay. You want to make accept the agenda?
I move we accept the agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the agenda is approved, and we have, I printed out the minutes. Everybody had a chance to look over the minutes? So we had, I have them in my bag. We had June, September, November, and December minutes. And everybody take a vote on the minutes now for approval.
I move we approve those minutes.
Any second?
A second.
All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed? Okay, so those minutes are all approved, and I'll get them up on the website. And we'll start with council public announcements. Any announcements in the council? I just want to say there were 2 fires in White Center today, and one on our street, 20th, and pretty lot of damage. And then at a commercial spot on 15th, a big fire at a blacksmith, the old blacksmith place. So it's kind of, yeah, so.
Next to Westside Baby.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned that they may have gotten still damage before all the products and wear out.
Oh,
That's why.
that would be a shame. What house on your street?
Same one.
Same.
5 years ago.
Oh.
I saw it on the blog, it said on the 20th, 100 seconds, so I called my husband and said, it's not our house. It's not our house. So, okay, so any comments from the audience? Dick, I know that you wanted to speak tonight.
My name is Dick Thurnoff, and this is Marcia Goldman. And we're going to talk about litter in our community. Marcia's going to give a little presentation on it, and I did a little little area, a short area around Top Hat, and I'm going to pass these pictures around so you can get an idea about what's happening.
Okay, we won't be too long on this, but we just kind of wanted to bring litter back into focus because it seems to be a background issue in this neighborhood, which it has been, of course, for decades. Kind of like the wallpaper on your computer where it's there, but you don't really pay attention. And we wanted to have more discussions about it to bring up more ideas for solutions. Ideally, we would like to see every citizen that is able-bodied out picking up litter, because there's nobody that's paid to do that in this neighborhood. Vernon has some crews that are paid to do this, And we don't have anyone paid here, it's just us. Now, the Department of Corrections, as we know, does pick up litter in White Center in the business area once a week, but that's a drop in the bucket compared to all the litter that's on the arterials and the residential streets. It's there every day, it's an everyday problem. We'd like to get some young people engaged, especially students, so we're working with the schools. We have some meetings coming up about that. There are some students that are interested, but a lot of the time it's not considered cool to pick up litter, so they don't do it, if it is at all in their minds to do it. But also, young people need the example of adults, and if they don't see any adults out picking up litter, they're going to say, why are you asking us to do it? It would be do as I say, but not as I do, and kids don't really react to that very well. So besides just looking trashy, litter adds to the crime in this area. As you probably know, it's really a forerunner to the broken window scenario. So the criminals come in and scope out the neighborhood and see the trash and say, yeah, nobody's paying attention here, nobody cares about this, this is prime real estate for us. So we'd like to get away from that image of the trashy look, which is the Rat City moniker idea. Because really, it just takes everybody's work every day. And spring clean is a nice thing, but that's once a year, and litter happens every day here. So one of the things that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, if they don't know it, is that litter not only lowers the property values because the neighborhood looks trashy, but it also increases your property taxes. And you may say, well, now how does that happen? Well, if you look on your property tax bill, there's something called the SWIM fee, S-W-M, the Surface Water Management Fee. And that's the money we all pay to the county to take care of the surface runoff, everything that runs off from impervious surfaces. Now that fee has been going up gradually over the years. Part of the reason is litter goes down the storm drain. Now if you live in the city of Seattle, they have one pipe that takes all of the water, sewer and storm water. So when it gets to the end point, they have to separate out all that non-degradable stuff, and it goes to a separate place. But in our area, we have two separate drainages. We have sewer and we have stormwater. And that might sound on the surface like a good thing. But what that means is this stormwater doesn't get any treatment. It goes right out to the Sound. Or some other body of water, depending on where the drain is. Possibly the Duwamish, some other lakes and bodies of water that are surface. But most of it goes into the Sound. Last year, 6 tons went into the Sound. So that fee is gradually going up. And I look back at my own property taxes, and that SWIM fee in 2004 was $102. So everybody here probably got that same assessment. 2012 it was up to $133. 2013 $151. This year it will be $171.50. And part of the reason is all of this litter keeps increasing, and that's one of the things that the county has to do with somewhere along the line. Now, of course, this fee goes to a lot of other things. There's toxins that go into streams that they're trying to mitigate, and agricultural runoff, certain projects that they have to work on, maintenance of the aging infrastructure. But the litter is a big component. And just to give you kind of a physical idea, when you think about litter and you think, oh, well, there's the bottles laying over there in the gutter, you know, and I'm not going to pick that up. Well, this won't go down the drain, but after it in the street a few days, this goes down the gutter, because now it's flat. The same thing with this won't go a few days in the street, now it will. Plus all of the millions of little bits of stuff that go down, like cigarette butts, the plastic versus the fiber kind of cigarette butts, litter stuff accumulates. And when it gets to the Sound, the creatures there will ingest it. They don't know that it's not food. So it's poisoning them, besides trashing up our water. So we say that we would hope that everyone would look at their area, in front of their house or their apartment, pick the litter up when they see it, and don't just walk around it because you think that's somebody else's job, because it's really no one else's job. One of the Puget Sound keepers, who's a woman, has a boyfriend that is from Germany. He's recently come over here, and she said they have a whole different ethic about keeping their area clean, and he is baffled by what he sees in this neighborhood. And I thought, yeah, that's probably true, but the other thing is, what kind of an image and message are we giving to the immigrant populations that come here? They see, oh, this is the way Americans are, I guess we'll just join in. They may not be contributing to it, but they're not picking it up either. So we want to get the message that this is really not acceptable, and we hope that you get out and pick up litter. I would recommend one of these. It's foldable, you can take it easily. It's got nice grippers that you can pick up small things with. There are other versions of this that have a pincer, but that's not as effective. usually you can get for about $10, places like Harbor Freight with a hardware store. And you just carry it with you. I mean, if you're out walking your dog, carry an extra bag on one of these and just pick it up. That would make a huge difference if everybody did that. Because remember, when you see litter going down the drain, think money going down the drain, because your swim fee is going to keep going up. Thanks for listening. I got my rant.
Marcia,
Yes.
just a couple points of clarification. I couldn't agree with you more, of course. I do a lot of litter pickup. But one is that spring clean isn't really anymore. You know, starting last
Spring
year.
Clean doesn't exist anymore?
Well, it kind of spread it out over a period of time, and it wasn't the kind of big community event that it has been. I don't know if they're going to be doing it this year or not. And the other thing is, if you have specific trash to pick up, if you let Vaughn know, the DOC crew will come out away from downtown.
Oh, we do call them, because some of the things are such huge piles, I
Okay.
can't pick it up.
Good.
Yeah,
I had it with me all day today, so.
yeah.
Paul's not here today, but I can complain a little bit. He doesn't forget, he does forget other things too.
That's
I
really
have to keep reminding him all the time.
It's the day-to-day litter that is really the big issue. It's
No, I
not,
understand.
even though the big piles are unsightly,
Yeah.
it's the day-to-day stuff. It's
I
erosive, yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple of meetings.
Just, okay,
Good, anyways.
Yes.
okay, if there's litter, I live at 18th and Roxbury, the northwest corner of the city side, but by the way, if there's litter around there, does it make the property value go down?
Well, if you were driving by, would you want to buy a house that had trash around it?
No, but my taxes are so damn high, I'm just kidding, no, I go out all the time, and I have one of those, but I have one that's a cloth hang.
Okay, well, whatever works.
And that, but it does, because I'm a vulnerable spot, because I'm right next to the park and ride, and it's not the parishioners at Holy Family, and it's not anybody else, it's some of the dumps, you know, that,
Throwing out of their car and stuff.
oh, all the time.
Okay, well, thank you.
I had a question.
Yeah.
In some of your discussions with the school, is there anything like Principal Garcia or any of the teachers that might be willing to use this tool on
I've met
lunch
four
breaks?
different principals in Cascade who brought this problem up, plus vice principal of Evergreen. I've talked to the schools. Well, they got deputies over there. Got a new deputy over there. They can't do much either.
No, I was just thinking of being, you know, the adult
Well,
setting the example.
we also attended the board meeting the other day. We attended the board meeting, and the superintendent was there too.
Yeah, they didn't have any.
Not a word from them. Marcia gave her presentation. So it's a big problem. We just want to bring it up, so.
Yeah, I want to add, you know, Dow Constantine is going to be here on Monday to give his state of the county address at White Center Heights Elementary at 10 o'clock in the morning. And the King County Council is having a meeting there after that. And I did notice some areas that hadn't been cleaned up in a while, suddenly cleaned up. And I didn't know if it was just coincidence. Some people are coming to the community or what. I asked Bong about it and he didn't seem to know anything. But right-of-ways have been mowed that haven't been touched in 2 years.
Wow.
And this one property near us, near where I live on 100th, was completely picked up. I mean, Christina area will be cleaned up that time a couple years ago, then I cleaned it up again. And I mean, you had to shovel the sidewalk, it was so bad. And it was spick and span. And I don't know who did it. Interesting.
You know, when we were having an admiral board on the ship, it got cleaned in a second. And we went right back to norm, so I know what you're talking about. They knew he was coming.
We don't know, maybe it was coincidence. But they are going to be here at the White Center Heights Elementary on Monday. BJ. That's hard. Your first.
Hi there. Let me address my vision. Broke my glasses today when I was helping one of my fellow deputies over a fence, and he slipped back and his taser popped me in the face and broke my glasses. It's okay. I have Deputy Britannia riding with me. She's my driver, so I don't have a blind spot.
Yay.
That's right. So, a couple things. I followed up with the fire department this morning when I got in about the 2 fires they had. No one was hurt at any of those fires. I guess the damage, they sort of surmised that the damage at the blacksmith shop wasn't that bad. The house out there on the street was pretty bad. And that they don't know what the cause of those fires are yet. We have had a continued really high number of stolen vehicles in the neighborhood again this last month. And so one thing that there doesn't seem to be a consistent way that they're being stolen. And so when I was thinking about things that would be useful to pass along, sometimes these vehicles are stolen and then the owner realizes they're stolen within moments and calls us and says that they just discovered their vehicle stolen. It's probably stolen within the last few minutes. That information is really useful to deputies in the field because that it can be broadcast to everybody from here to SeaTac, and all of a sudden they're all looking for a green 1999 Ford Mustang. And we find a lot of vehicles when people realize that their vehicles were just stolen. One problem that we run into in that scenario is that people don't know their license plate numbers. And so they call with useful information and able to describe their vehicle, but they don't know their license plate number, which allows us to make sure that we know exactly what year it is, whether there's a model that's a little different than maybe you realized. The license plate info carries a lot of detail with it that's helpful for us. So one thing, I know I have my license plates memorized, but they change pretty often now. And so one thing that's useful to do is with everyone that has these camera phones now, that you're going to almost always have on your pocket or in your purse when your car is stolen, to just simply have a photograph of your license plate only on there, so that you can look it up if you need help recalling it. If it's just that license plate, it's not any information that you need to be worried about if you say your phone is stolen and then someone has your license plate info. That's not really a big deal. There's not much that they could do with that. So the risk of having that information lost, if your phone is lost, isn't real high. The value that's gained by being able to tell the 911 call receiver exactly what your license plate info is, and not be having difficulty recalling it in a stressful moment when your car is stolen, is really useful. So that's a tip that I would want to pass along. In Burien last week or maybe the week before, the Burien Police Criminal Investigations Unit served a search warrant on a house related to mail theft.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was an investigation that they had been, they arrested someone who kind of opened their eyes to the links that this person had to mail theft around here. They served a search warrant on a house, made one arrest, I believe, in addition to the first one that led them to the house, and recovered bags and bags and bags of stolen property from the house. They're still going through that to kind of make connections and start to notify people about it. It's good news for a couple reasons. There are victims that are going to be alerted to the fact that they were victims, for one, and that if they already knew that they were victims, that fortunately the police now have some of their information instead of these people. Also, we believe that the suspects that were involved there are connected to other people that steal mail in the area. So it gives us some information, as well as sends them a message that mail theft is something that we will kick in a front door for, which is what they did. So it was a lot of hard work on part of the Burien Police Department, And they have a lot of hard work still to go with the amount of evidence they recovered, but it's great to see something like that that can be a really disruptive crime that doesn't always get all the attention that Buehring's giving it. And my last point was, we've had a couple weird reports over the last month at the Safeway on Roxbury of someone coming up and opening doors on cars while they're being filled up. So in these cases, the person that was filling up the vehicle had stepped away. In one case, a purse was stolen out of the car. In another case, there was a child in the car that kind of spooked the person that had opened the door, and so the guy left. So we're not really sure what that's about, but that's alarming. So please be aware when you're filling up there or anywhere else that you keep an eye on your belongings and on your car as much as you can. Certainly if you have valuables in the car, like children, that you keep eyes on what's going on. The only description that we have on those was a white male in his 20s with real short or like bald hair. But that's not real great to go on. And in a couple of the cases, we didn't even see who it was. So that's just odd. I hadn't quite seen that, and especially seeing it a couple times over the same month. So please just be aware of that. I think that those were all my notes. What questions can I answer? Sorry, I can't see everybody. Go ahead.
Yeah, I hope they can find one. I've been around 4 times on the work south. I just hope they find something down there to return it.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the first thing they do is go through and we'll start looking through our own systems to see if serial numbers or item descriptions match the stuff that they have, and then they'll start working on getting that back. Yeah.
And most of them to get driver's license numbers.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
But this has been several years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any video from the Safeway police station?
Not on the reports that I saw. I don't know whether, and I don't know the circumstances of why we didn't have it. Yeah.
What's the latest on bog camps? Came to attention again. I was corresponding with Dan, and he said that there's a couple camps that seem to be hanging around the 98th Street corridor. And also there was a thing on TV the other night out in East King County, and they had someone who was responsible for maintaining it. I don't know who it was. And they were taking the TV crew around, and the camps looked just like the ones we have here. And they're heroin camps, treating up heroin. And then I could locate, they said, near food banks and sources of beer. Anyway, what's the latest on heroin locals?
Jeez. The latest is that south end of that area got cleared really well, and they did a good job clearing brush away, clearing almost all of the garbage that was back there out, and then sort of building in kind of a trail or a pathway that they could get equipment in there better in the future so that the next cleanup goes more smoothly. They weren't able to do the same kind of treatment north of the stairway, so the camps that we've seen pop back up are the ones north of the stairway. It's a couple of the same people. We've run them out again. Usually they'll just abandon what they have in there and then set up again a couple days later once they think that no one's looking again.
Do you notice are any of those folks hanging out downtown too?
Yeah, they all hang out downtown.
And they're new, I mean, they're not the regulars
Oh, they are the regulars.
that have always been around?
Yeah, most of the people that are in there now are a little younger, so they haven't been around. Not juveniles certainly, but not the crowd that's been here for decades. But it is the same people that are out on 15th during the day just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
These days, going to be anything done about traffic enforcement?
I don't know. I know that the sheriff has talked about that as a priority when they can start building it back into the budget, but I don't know what the prospect is on that.
That's a whole different story.
It is a whole different story. Yeah.
But is your new partner burning off the carbon off the pistons the way you love that thing around White Center? Have this happen every couple of weeks, you know. Anyway.
Is that a speeding complaint?
No. I got stopped on that freeway for going too slow.
Oh.
You know, I mean, on the Burien Freeway. Of course, it was Port of Seattle police, and I told them I was their next longshoreman. No problem. You got a jug underneath your seat? Here, have one. I just got one off the ship. No problem. You were a different story, pal. You must be, yeah.
I participated in the one night count again.
How was it?
It was good. My Vaughn sends me into the woods every time. He drives
Nobody else
around.
wants to go there.
Yeah. So I was doing the woods between Myers Way and 509, which was empty. It's not always empty. And I know that part of that is because this is the time of year that we do the homeless count. If they did this homeless count in the summer, the numbers would be way different.
Yeah.
Especially when it's.
But I understand that like some of those people that are homeless in the summer may go places in the wintertime. So I don't. Anyways, it was pretty empty out there. We probably counted 5 or 6 people in that whole long stretch, and a couple of them had some shelters built that indicated they'd been there for a long time. The group that was doing the count for the rest of White Center, that was driving around the vehicle, only counted 1 person sleeping outdoors, and so that's the official number that got reported. I know that's not right, and so I'm going to argue that next year I should be allowed to not be in the woods, and I should try to where all these people are. So I haven't looked to see what the total numbers were for the White Center area. The blog probably did a better job talking about that stuff. But I know that our numbers out here probably don't reflect what we all see. So hopefully that next time around we can locate a few more people and make that an accurate count. Yeah.
What do you do when you find people? Do you tell them to leave, or do you just let them continue?
For the count?
Yeah.
No, we just count. Yeah, it's mostly volunteers, and so they're not equipped in any way to go and ask people to leave. Don't have authority to do that. So it's just people going out and simply trying to count. So they, will explain, hey, we're just out doing a count. In fact, one guy that we ran into back in the woods thought it was cool, and so gave us a tour and showed us some places. He was great, but many times we're counting in the middle of the night, so people are still sleeping, so you don't disrupt them. People are in tents. You kind of estimate how many you think are in there and just let it go. That's kind of what they do.
And a lot of people in cars and that.
Yeah, there's a lot of car camping around here, especially in the winter time. We see a lot of that,
Yeah.
and that's. I know up in Ballard, I was talking to some people that counted up in Ballard, and they had huge numbers from the car campers up there. And I know we have a lot more car campers down here, and the people that were doing the count for that area maybe just weren't quite as savvy to count it properly.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing when you go to Ballard now and see how many
Right.
campers are just lined up.
Right. Yeah.
They don't have any old-fashioned squatter camps anymore. I mean, I'm not Dick's age, but I'm old enough to remember when I was a kid, there's kids right down there, and they had regular stuff that was made out of railroad ties. They were the old squatter guys, and now they weren't into drugs though. They had bottles they like to drink, those horns, but I don't see any. I mean, there's none of that old-fashioned, river squatter camps out by a railroad trestle or.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah.
Any other questions for me?
That's great. Thank you so much, AJ. And hope you get your glasses.
Yes, I'm gonna build the county.
So we're really pleased tonight. We have Hannah Hunt from Sustainable Seattle to give us a presentation on what she's doing.
Yeah, so it
actually kept the 2 T's at the end, no N, but it's totally fun.
Oh,
No, it's okay, just for future reference if you ever see it.
so it's K-E.
TT.
Oh, sorry about that. No problem.
So I'm Hannah. I'm the neighborhood programs manager for Sustainable Seattle. And so I thought we are starting a project at Holy Family. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about it because we really want it to be have the community involved and hopefully spread beyond just the parish and school. So we, if you haven't heard of us, we're a really small community-based nonprofit that really focuses on the city of Seattle, but expanding a little bit beyond it with our focus. And we do a lot of education and on-the-ground projects. And right now we're doing a lot with rain gardens and green infrastructure. And so we received funding from the King Conservation District to do a rain garden project at the Holy Family Parish and School. And the parish, the fees that we were talking about a little bit earlier, they pay about $18,000 a year in those fees. And so that is a significant amount of money. And one way you can reduce those fees as a large property is by installing things like rain gardens and cisterns, because they help slow the flow of all that water going down the storm drain. And so one of the reasons we're doing this project with them is to help them reduce that fee and to show other big properties ways they can reduce that fee. And it's also to bring a little bit more beauty to that asphalt to blocks that exists over there on Roxbury. So we are really excited. We are going to start testing the soil soon, which sounds really very beginning stages, but it's a big step of seeing how many rain gardens we can install. So I'm going to give you a big picture vision of what we're going to do. So our goal is to install 16 rain gardens on the property, and that will help. That would be 100% infiltration of all the roofs on the property, which is about 30,000 square feet of roofs.
Can,
You want me to explain what a rain garden is?
well,
Or-
and when you say 100% filtration?
Yes, I will. Yeah, I can explain that. Yeah. So, sorry, back up. So does anybody know what a rain garden is, or do you guys? So there's just landscape features that help soak in rainwater, and so 100% of the roof rain, of the 100% of the rain that falls on the roof would go into a rain garden and soak into the ground, rather than drain off into the stormwater system. So that's what I mean by 100% filtration, which is pretty cool. Infiltration, which is so that is the goal, the basic goal, and that is the funding that we currently have, is to help that project happen. And we also there's also some property on the site that isn't going to be used for a rain garden and isn't used by the church currently. And so we are trying to make that into a community garden, both for the parish and the school, so the students would be involved in it, and also for the surrounding neighbors. So that's something the church is willing to do and sort of manage. And it's the property it's right on what's the 24th, I believe, like the back southwest corner of the property. There's some unused land, so that could become a community garden. So our hope is that this, so the project will sort of span a couple years, because we can't do all the rain gardens at once. We can't build a community garden all at once, and we really, our hope is that the community will get involved and plant, do some planting and learn about how they can sort of transform their property with this, with these gardens. And we are willing to help with that process. So we really want to use it as really as a community project, but also as a project to sort of help you, vision what you can do with your yard, and then work with us to sort of get that accomplished. So whether it's a project, another public property in your neighborhood, or whether it's your home, that's sort of what I wanted to talk to you guys. And we will have one of the things. I have a sort of a flyer describing sort of the project and ways you can get involved. But we'll have a greening committee that will sort of design the project as well as any follow-on project that will happen from the parish. And so we are going to meet, the first meeting will be at the end of February. We haven't quite set it yet. But if you're at all interested in learning more about the project, and I will have more pictures and diagrams and things like that at that meeting, and a better set timeline, then just let me know. There will be December. Does anybody have questions? Okay.
Are there any groups or individuals from the congregation or from the school that are involved?
Yeah, so the project was not initiated by us, it was initiated by the administrative, the person from the parish. His name is Gary San Diego. And this is, it's actually a rain-wise, which doesn't apply to the which I'm not going to go into what it is, but it's a rain-wise, qualifies for the rain-wise program, which is a city reimbursement program for rain gardens. So he is interested in doing that, and he's interested in installing one rain garden, and now we're installing 16, so we've got to go further. But so he is sort of the lead on the church side, and so we're going to have church volunteers in the green community as well. And then on the school side, we're working with somebody from a group called Sustainability Ambassadors, and they're incorporating the rain garden into their curriculum, into the K-8 curriculum, and so there will be hopefully that'll be a model for other schools in the area. That's his intention, is to spread it to other schools and do more on-the-ground projects with other schools as well, and incorporate it into the curriculum. So,
and does that mean like public schools?
Some public schools are always trickier just because of the administration, but his goal is to work with public schools. That is his intention.
And in Seattle, or would that include the North Highline School District?
Yeah, he is. So his is a nonprofit, and so his goal is really to work with this whole, like the watershed, not the school district specifically. So this watershed area. So like.
And what's his name?
His name is Peter Donaldson, and I can connect you if you're interested, and he would be definitely interested in talking to anyone.
And who is he with?
He's with a group called Sustainability Ambassadors, but it's his own nonprofit, but he's done a program similar to this in the Tahoma School District, and he's worked with schools for a lot of years, and so but this is the first time he's done it sort of this way, in terms of the Holy Family site. So, go ahead.
The soil that you were talking about, now, is there a whole lot of soil that has no plants in it right now, or are you going to take asphalt out, or what?
It'll be a combination of both. So the two, like along the property going south from Roxbury, like along the church, there's two huge plots of grass, and those will both both areas for rain gardens. And then by the old convent, within the church property, there's some grass, and then we'll probably take up some asphalt too next to the school. And then our intention is hopefully once we get past the roof part, is to do more of the asphalt. There's so much asphalt on that property.
Now, you call them a rain garden, and a garden is, now the community gardens, I understand, in the back, but are these things literally gardens planted, or are they more, is it a drain field, or is it a holding tank that bleeds off controlled rate? How do you, I understand you're going to try to capture the water comes off the roof and get it to soak into the ground, but.
So it's like a swale drain, or it's a swale garden. So it's just like it's sloped on either side, and they're designed, there's thousands in Seattle now, but they're designed to really, there's a drain pipe that goes directly into the garden from the roof. So that's
it's a miniature retention pond.
It's like,
isolated. Okay.
So it's supposed to, it's designed to drain within 24 hours. So after a really heavy rainstorm. Typically it just drains pretty quickly, but with a heavy rainstorm, it's designed to drain within 24 hours.
So what about, as far as if people want to do individual work on their property, is there grant money available in the unincorporated area for that, or?
I mean, that would be something like that we would have to sort of design and plan together. So it's not, there's grant money available, but not from us directly. It would be working with us to, like, if a group of people wanted to go together, and so that's, Go ahead.
Okay, is this like in the back of the Catholic Church? I mean, the Holy, I live right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
So all the way down to, see, 96, 98, this is there?
Yeah, so the 2 blocks that the Holy Family owns,
Yeah.
talking about all of that. There'll be different parts on that property that are getting,
There's gonna be a rain garden and you're gonna grow something.
yeah, there's gonna be lots of rain gardens, cisterns.
You're gonna say, Father Monsignor McGrath, and I know you're not his age, he's turning over in his grave right now. The only thing is though, that he'd say, I know him, he'd say, go marijuana in there, pay it off, and then bring in the wine to the church. I know he would.
So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, my daughter goes to Holy Family and I've never heard.
We have not really, yeah, we've not really introduced the project yet, because we got the funding a couple months ago, and so we're gonna, I'm doing the public flyer this week, so you will receive something in like the next couple weeks.
But yeah, I was wondering if maybe you, I missed last month's parents club meeting and maybe you guys were out talking about it then, or were they gonna have you come to a parents meeting then?
So I think they will. So they just started talking. We just started talking to the teachers last month. We did our first in-service with the teachers last month, sort of talking about the project and how the students could be involved. And so right now the teachers are thinking about what is the best way to incorporate, like where is the best place to incorporate this sort of training into the curriculum. Is it civil? Is it science, or is it civics, or something like that? Because it does deal with a lot of stormwater, how our city manages stormwater, how our county manages stormwater.
So will that actually decrease, what is it called,
The surface water fees, it's the, yeah.
So will that decrease what they pay, or?
So, there's something, so the surface water fees are based on the impermeable surfaces on your property. And so right now, including your roof. And so right now, the property has a significant amount of impermeable surfaces, and all the water from that is draining, carrying pollutants like litter and oil from your car and all these different pollutants down the drain and into our waterways. And so when you increase the permeable surfaces, so increase the areas that water can go into, or if you direct your roof water into something like a rain garden, and you do it to certain specifications of the city, you can get things called stormwater credits, and so you can apply for them. And so our goal is to design the rain gardens in such a way that the church can apply for these credits and reduce their fees.
So they're, okay, I didn't realize that they based it on the amount of, because I'm wondering, because there's people in the community who paved everything. And they're not supposed to do that. I mean, you're supposed to not have so much impermeable surface. I don't know how they get away with doing that.
I don't know either.
Well, does the county have stormwater credits as well?
I don't know, since this is, I haven't.
No, I know, but if an individual.
Oh. The individual, it's trickier because your fees are, since the fees are lower and like it's like, but you can, I think you can, like, for reassessment, especially like if you've increased it's just a different process. The stormwater credits are really for industrial or commercial sites. Go ahead.
But it's like, on the property, I don't know if it's church owned because there's a house on it. I think it's individual owned on the south end of the property on 98.
That's the one piece they don't own, yeah.
You already have a rain garden in that.
They
in front of the
do.
house, so you know.
Yeah, so that's the southernmost boundary of the city, and that's the southernmost boundary of the rain wise zone. So they're like, they had to like come out and measure it, but yeah, that is the, yeah.
They're featuring last.
Rain wise, yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful rain garden.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'd be really interested to come up and see